let's see what we've got here. Okay. Nice. Ooh, shiny. Hi YouTube! Hi! What's up? What's up everybody? A bit different situation today because the bus is gone. The bus is going away. Yeah, the bus is over at it's over at a sleepover at a friend's garage because it needs to get some small things sorted. But I'll tell you when it's back.
I'll tell you when it's back.
Which gives me room for activities in my shed. Which also means I have to do new activities in my shed. And today I'm going to do something different because I bought something which is probably going to be a slap in the face.
High five!
For every VW owner worldwide. But it was sort of an emergency type situation. I had a VW Polo for a while. It started off with a Audi A3. Which was scrap actually because it had all sorts of electronic bugs. Then I bought a VW Polo which also had a bunch of electronic issues and I couldn't be bothered fixing it, and for some reason this thing came on my path and I thought, oh, why not? I'll just buy it, and I had to have a new car quickly, so I made a trade with somebody for the Polo and I bought what I'm about to show you. So I'm not going to show you just yet, but that's the project of today. I hope it's a one-day project, we'll see. I'm going to lower this thing. Sneak peek. Sneak peek. I'm going to lower this thing. I'm going to try to lower it in a day, and I'm going to do that by using YouTube tutorials. I've never lowered a car of this size or this type or whatever. I actually never lowered a modern car, to be honest. So today's going to be a first. That's the goal of today. I'm going to lower this car by using only YouTube tutorials and tools, of course, tools. Maybe this could serve as a tutorial for you, but like I said before, everything I'm doing here is not supposed to be taken educational or informative or whatever. It's just entertainment, and maybe you'll pick something up along the way. I don't know. I'll pick something up along the way probably. But no, this is not educational anyway, so let's get started. Right, so the first hurdle is already here, and the first hurdle is windscreen wipers, because the tutorial showed me that the only thing you have to do is remove two plastic plugs, I don't know what you call these, covers, from the windscreen wiper, and then remove two 13mm nuts. Then just pull off the windscreen wiper. But for some reason it won't come off. So here's where YouTube tutorials are fine and good and everything, but in real life they usually don't work as shown. So yeah, okay, so here's the original clip. And here's the real life situation. Oh. Good luck. Yes. So far so good. I managed to remove all this stuff. Which is the front cowl or firewall sort of thing. It's not really a firewall, but a front cowl. This protecting thing, and windscreen wipers, which leaves me with a clear path to the upper shock mount, which is here, as you can see. And you probably already saw what kind of brand car it is. But okay, we'll get into it. We'll get into it at the end of this video. We'll get into it. So yeah, the only thing that differed from the tutorial was the windscreen wipers were stuck, so I had to use some force to get them off. But all in all, up until now, the tutorial is pretty decent. So let's continue. Right, so we're down to removing the shock mount from the car, just like the tutorial is showing me. But there's one slight discrepancy in the tutorial, which is the stabilizer rod. I think it's a stabilizer rod. It's this thing right here. I don't know if you can see this. It's this rod right here. The tutorial says you unscrew the nut from this bolt, and then you just push it out of the way. But as you can see, this is tilting downwards a bit, so I have to lift up the entire arm assembly just to get this to pop out. So it's weird. I'll show you the tutorial and then the real life situation. In the tutorial, this just pops out after unscrewing the nut lug thingy. So yeah, so I have to lift this entire thing up just to get this flush to push it out of the way. So okay, so that's not really what the tutorial is showing me.
The reason I look so terrified while doing this is because I've never used a spring tensioner to release the spring from its shock, but I have heard a bunch of stories and seen a bunch of clips where this goes terribly wrong, like this one.
I'm still gonna send it.
Okay. I survived one. I survived one.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. That's my thing. And if you take it away from me, I will kill myself. And then you.
And here's the difference in size between the left original spring and right the Vogtland lowered spring. According to Vogtland, this is supposed to lower your car by 30 millimeters or 3 centimeters, and it looks like a centimeter or so, so let's hope it drops a bit more.
Oh, and just in case you're wondering, yes, I am torquing everything down to spec, or to spec-ish. So I'm torquing everything down to spec where I can, because I only got one torque wrench and it only holds the things that go on torque wrenches. I don't know. Right, so I have got a torque wrench, and I'm going to try to torque everything down to specifications as mentioned in the tutorial. And to be completely honest, the tutorial is actually very helpful because I have never worked on this car before, and I've never lowered a car like this before, and it was fairly easy. Okay, it's taking me a lot of time because I'm also filming, but I mean, if you put your mind to it, you could probably do this in an hour or two, 3 maybe. So it's good. It's good. All right, let's get cracking because I still need to do the rear end as well. Right, so far so good. The tutorial I followed from Autodoc turned out to be really helpful because I managed to lower the front end exactly like they did, only on the ground instead of using a car bridge. But that went fine, and I'm using a tutorial to lower the rear of the car as well. Same YouTube channel, Autodoc. But this time I'm not going to actually bother, to be honest, because the only thing I need to do is lower the rear shock mount, the upper shock mount for the rear shock, and then push down the thing that's holding the spring, push down and then pull out the spring, and then it's done. So I'm going to, I think, record a time lapse of how I do that, and yeah, that's the only thing you need to do. Just unbolt the upper bolt for the rear shock, and then push down on the carrying arm, or whatever you want to call it, pull out the spring, and you're done. And just replace the new spring, the lowered spring, by pushing down on the subframe again. I think it's a subframe, carrying arm, whatever. Just push down, put the spring back in the rubber holdy thingy, I'll show you, and you're done. So the rear is so easy, and I'm so glad that I started at the front because that actually made me anxious the most. So yeah. So enjoy this time lapse or video of lowering the rear, which is really easy. So but again, I used the tutorial first to find out how they do it, and that's the way I'm doing it. So yeah, I'm going to continue lowering the rear, and we'll see what the result is. Trying to lower a car using YouTube tutorials only. Passed. And these are the tools I used. Of course, a device to capture everything I did, and a mount, and all the tools.
They definitely need to settle.
2,000 years later.
Right, so this is a bit anticlimactic because after a week of driving with this thing, they didn't really lower anymore. They settled, and they didn't lower anymore. It's probably lower for, I'm guessing, a centimeter or two, and it's lower than a stock height car of this make and model. But it's not low, so so that's a bit of a shame. But it did improve handling, drivability and handling, because it's not as wavy and as bouncy as it was before. It's planted on the road now, and I must say that's actually very nice. So yeah, it's not really low, but it drives a lot better.